Happy Friday, Flosstube. Welcome, crafty friends. My name is Jessie, and this is Mislaid Pages. If you're new here, welcome. So happy to have you. If you're returning, then welcome back. Happy to see you again. This is my channel where I talk about my crafty stuff, and Flosstube is where I talk about my cross-stitching stuff, and I have a lot of stuff for you today. And for the new folks, because I think there are a few of you, for the new folks, I also tend to do life updates and different chatty stuff on my Flosstube as well. Not everybody does. A lot of folks keep it just to the cross-stitching, but I talk about all kinds of stuff, and I usually get that stuff, I talk about that stuff in the very beginning. So if you're only here for the cross-stitching, you might want to skip ahead a little bit. I'll talk about my whips as my first actual cross-stitching thing. So once you see a piece of cross-stitching come up on the screen, you're safe. You're safe. You're past all the chatty stuff. But I enjoy chatting, and I think a bunch of my friends here enjoy listening to me chat. So yeah, so I do some chatty stuff first, and sometimes it's serious, and sometimes it's less fun stuff, because sometimes the world is not fun. You know, there's bad stuff that goes on in the world, and that affects me, and when things affect me, I tend to talk about it here on Flosstube. So that's just a disclaimer for the new folks, the folks who aren't used to who I am and what I have to say and that kind of stuff. I can be very opinionated. I try to always be teachable and correctable and that kind of stuff, but I do have my opinions, and I do have some strong feelings about a lot of things. And so if you're curious where my opinions and feelings lie, you can check back in some of my Flosstubes around the 30s, the mid-30s, around January, basically. That'll give you an idea of who I am in case you're new and you're curious. So I am, as Michelle G. of Bendy Stitchy would say, I'm not a stitchy automaton. I am not a Dalek. I have thoughts and feelings and opinions, and I share those here on Flosstube. So anyway, just a quick thing, because I hadn't said anything about it in a while, and I have mostly talked just about cross-stitchy stuff lately, so just want to put that out there for you. So I usually start with a happy mail. I don't have any happy mail right now. I think we're between happy mail periods for the Patreon creators that I follow. So no happy mail right now, but I do have a really exciting thing to talk about with my what am I reading, what am I listening to, what am I watching. So this segment started out as what am I reading, but realistically, I don't read physical books much anymore. It's just a reality of how my brain works and the amount of time I have and that kind of stuff. So when I say I'm reading a book, I actually mean I'm listening to an audio version of it. So that's how I read nowadays, because I can then read while I'm stitching, or I can read while I'm driving and that kind of stuff. So so I have rephrased that into what am I listening to? So what I'm listening to, I actually started and finished a book in 2 days. because I don't know how familiar y'all are with Jenny Lawson, the bloggess, but she has a new book. Let me see if, okay, here we go. So her new book is called Broken in the Best Possible Way. The only reason I have a physical copy, I'll let you know, she's doing a virtual book tour, and there were 5 or 6 dates. And on each of these dates, she's scheduled to actually speak with another author. And so last night she spoke with Neil Gaiman, and tonight she will be speaking with Felicia Day. And of course, I wanted to get in on the virtual book tours. And it turns out, if you bought a ticket, because I was only interested in just joining the virtual thing, but it turns out for all of these events, if you bought a ticket, you got a signed copy. You also got with your ticket a signed copy of the physical book. So this is a signed copy of a book I'll probably never actually open to read myself. However, I'm happy to have it as a collector's edition. I do have her first book, Let's Pretend This Never Happened, which is how I really got introduced to Jenny Lawson and who she is and what she has to say. And she's been instrumental for me in not only recognizing some of my mental health issues, but in being open about talking about them, and also giving myself permission to ask for help when I need it or seek help. So she's been a huge influence in my life. and was very excited to hear that she was writing another book, very excited to hear that she was narrating her own book. So I listened to the audio. It took me a day and a half. I listened to it like straight through, mostly all day yesterday. So 6 hours of listening yesterday, because that's how much I love listening to her read her work. And this book is just like, I'm going to give you a quick book review because I can't not. So if you're familiar with her other books, this is, I don't want to say it's more of the same, because I don't want to make it seem like it's not good and wonderful in its own right, but you'll feel that it's familiar, because it's a very familiar format to what she's done before. So there are chapters that are very funny. There are chapters that are hilarious. There are chapters that, you know, it's silly and weird and funny, but there are also chapters that are serious and heartfelt and vulnerable, and just things that we need to hear, things that she needed to say. So there's a lot of variety, and it's just fantastic. If you have loved her other books, you will love this one too, because, like I said, it's familiar in the feel of it and the things that or the types of things that she's written about, but this is all new stuff. I think some of it has come off of her blog, but some of it is brand new stuff. And it's more of what we've come to expect from Jenny Lawson, which I was so super excited about. So I have this book. I'm very excited about this book. I've already listened to the audio. I'm sure I'll listen to it again. In fact, I might go back to Let's Pretend This Never Happened, and then listen to the second one, and the title is escaping me right now, and then listen to the third one again, because that's how I do. But I love the fact that she narrates her own books. I'm a huge proponent of an author narrating their own work, especially when there's somebody like Jenny Lawson or Neil Gaiman, especially. They're consummate storytellers. They don't just read their book to you, they tell you the story that is in the book. So they just weave that image in your mind with their voice and with their words. So it's so much more than narration. It's storytelling, and it's fantastic, and I love it. So I can't speak highly enough for her as a human being. I can't speak highly enough for her as an author, and I really love the audio versions of these books as well. I love her voice. I love to listen to her talk, even though, and this is a particular weirdness of mine, she has this way of saying G's and D's at the end of words that kind of makes me twitchy. I think it's because of where she grew up in Texas. It's just how she speaks. But it's a weird dialect thing that kind of makes me itchy, that I don't like. But that's not her fault. It's just how she talks. So yeah, I'm super excited about this book. Like I said, I've already listened to it, devoured it. And yeah, I love it. So, last night, as I mentioned, she's on this virtual book tour. So I attended the virtual, event, with her and Neil Gaiman, and that was pretty awesome too. I would have liked it if there could have been an opportunity for more interaction with the audience, because there was no direct interaction with the audience. So it was done over Zoom, but it was done as a webinar. So Neil and Jenny were up on the screen, and the guy that was moderating were up on the screen, and the rest of us were just like shadows in the ether. And there was an opportunity to ask questions in a Q&A text thing, but very few questions got answered, and for the most part it was Neil and Jenny talking back and forth, which was absolutely enjoyable. There's nothing wrong with the content that they provided. I was just kind of disappointed that as the audience, we didn't really get any interaction with them, so that kind of made me sad. I'm curious to see, because last night's event was sponsored by or held by Literati, which is a bookstore in Ann Arbor, Michigan, I believe. So I'm happy to support a small bookstore, so I got no problem with that. But I think because it is a small venue, a small bookstore, maybe they didn't have the capacity to do some things, maybe. Tonight's event is actually hosted by Barnes & Noble. I think it's hosted by a specific location of Barnes & Noble, but it's still a Barnes & Noble store that's running it. So maybe there will be more opportunity for interaction. There might be even less, because being run by a larger store, they may actually be able to allow more people to be connected to the event. So they may have even less ability to have us be connected, but we'll see. We'll see. So like I said, tonight is Felicia Day. She's another one of my favorite humans. So that's kind of exciting. So that'll be fun. And consequently, because I did 2 of these events, I signed up for 2 of the events, I will have 2 signed copies of the book. Obviously one I'm keeping for my collection because reasons, but the other one I don't know what to do with. So I'm thinking about giving it away. I also have considered, and this is what I'm leaning towards now, but I'm considering using it as an auction giveaway, or maybe not a charity giveaway is what I'm trying to say, not an auction, a charity giveaway. And I'm not sure if I'm going to donate it to one of my friends who has a little bit more reach with their audience to auction off for charity, or if I'm going to give it away as a, you know, donate to a charity probably themed around mental health, a mental health charity, and send me evidence that you donated and then draw names from that. I haven't decided yet, but yeah. So I'm going to have a signed copy of Broken that I'm going to do something with. Did I say this is called Broken in the best possible way? I can't remember if I ever said the title. But yeah, so I'll have an extra copy of this that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. So like I said, I'm leaning towards a charity related situation with it. I'd like to try to raise some money for possibly NAMI, which is a mental health organization, or something similar to that. So that's a thing. But I know that Michelle G, Betty Stitchy is going to be doing very soon in concert with Caroline from Off the Great Needle Arts, a fundraiser for MMIW, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. And I'm planning on donating several things to that. So I might add a copy of this to that as well. I'm going to check with Michelle. But yeah, so regardless, one of these is going to go to some kind of charitable thing. So that is that. So what else do I have? Oh, I also have a random story for you. Actually, maybe I'll save the random story because I should do a whip and chat or something. Random stories don't really fit here. I give you so much random stuff anyway. So yeah, I'll do a whip and chat. I'll save the story for the whip and chat. So let's talk whips. So we're well into April at this point. Today is the 9th. So first week of April down, and I am really good on my whip go goals so far. So let's talk about that. I have just the one whip to show you, but I have been stitching. I've been stitching really a lot. I'm trying. I'm struggling to find words because what I'm trying to say is I'm stitching like mad, but I don't want to say I'm stitching like mad. So I am stitching like a motivated person, like a highly motivated person. There we go. Or I have been stitching earlier this week. Mostly I ended up switching over to knitting on Wednesday. So I've been knitting the last few days, partly because work has been really, intellectually grueling this week. I've been doing a lot of data work, and so when my brain is mush like that, I find knitting easier to do than cross stitching. I don't know why, but yeah. So anyway, the point is I've gotten a lot of progress on this. I forgot to check my app and see just how many hours I have worked on this. It's well more than 5, so I've already hit my whip go goal. I hit my whip go goal Monday or Sunday evening. So my whip go goal was 5 hours, and I've already hit that. And I actually, let me see. Okay. So I have filled in the sun completely. There's like 1 or 2 random stitches that I missed or need to cross or something like that. But otherwise, the sun is completely filled. And I am almost done filling out the moon's area. So there's 3 clouds that are sort of suggested here. There's 3 clouds. The rest of this is going to be dark blue fill in. So I'm nearly done with that. And that's really exciting. It's a lot of progress on this piece. So I think my strategy is going to be, I'm going to hold that closer. I'm trying to, okay. So my strategy is going to be to go ahead and finish off the background for the moon. And I'm thinking strongly about putting some glow in the dark in. So there's these empty spots. I don't know if you can tell them, these like little one squares all over the place that are stars. And I'm seriously considering using glow in the dark for those. And then possibly an etoile or something with some sparkle or shine for those clouds. So I am gonna I am gonna personalize it a little bit, partly because I just think it'll look good, but also because this is such an old kit. It doesn't have a lot of creativity or or color variation in it. There's basically only two colors. So we have three, I guess you could say. We have shades of orange, shades of yellow, and shades of blue. So there's only the three tones in here, or not three tones, but there's only the three colors in different hues and tones. So it's kind of boring. So I'm thinking to jazz it up a little bit. I'm gonna try some glow in the dark or maybe some etoile, and around the outside of the central part of the pattern, there are constellations, and I do have some like satin, some DMC satin, and some metallics. Forgot I had the metallics. But I have some satin and some metallics like silvers and things like that, that I think I'm going to use for drawing out the constellations in the back stitch when I get to that part. So I'm just going to jazz it up a little bit and make it a little tiny bit more modern, and that kind of stuff, just because that's what I'm feeling. So I no longer want to stick directly to what they designed it with because it's a little boring. Also, just as a side note, this is as much work as I've done. There's still a ton of work left to do. And not only is there a ton of regular stitching left to do, but y'all can't tell now, but the back stitch in this area alone is intense. It is intense. So probably as much time as I've already spent stitching to get the backgrounds finished, it's going to take me 3 or 4 times as much time to get all of that back stitching in. This is an intense piece, really intense. If I had known that when I purchased it, I probably wouldn't have even bought it or started it. And it's only because I have so much work in it that I'm still continuing, because this is not my style anymore. I don't even know if it's Rachel's style, and that's not Rachel Ray, that's a different Rachel. But my friend Rachel, it's still a sun and a moon. And because I made it and I put all the work into it, she will love it regardless. But I don't know that it's either of our style anymore. Anyway, I'm going to do it though. I'm going to do it. It's going to get done. But my strategy is to finish off the backgrounds, which I think I might be able to do today. Certainly by the end of the weekend. Sorry, my sleeves are too short. So I'm going to finish the background on that, and then I'm going to call that done for the month, most likely. If I feel like going back to it before the end of April, then I absolutely will, but I'm going to call it done after I get that background finished, because that's a pretty big accomplishment. I'm pretty sure I've spent already 10 or 12 hours on it this month. So I'll put a pin in it once I get that background on the moon finished, and then move on to other stuff. So sort of my priority outside of my model stitch is my other whip go goal, which is the peppermint purple. I've given myself a goal of 4 to 5 blocks on that, which seems doable. I'll probably work on that at least some this weekend, because this weekend is whip go weekend. And I think what happens, I get confused with whip go weekends. So I think what the purpose or the goal of whip go weekend is you set a weekend goal that within the goals that you have for that month. So for blocks 3 and 21, the goal for the entire month is 5 hours, or 4 to 5 blocks, depending on which piece. And so for whip go weekend, I set a sub goal. And actually my sub goal for the celestial piece is already set. I want to finish out the background for that moon. So that's the weekend goal for that. And then I don't know, I might do I might just have my monthly goal for peppermint purple be my weekend goal for peppermint purple, because I don't think 4 to 5 blocks is going to take me that long. I could be completely mistaken about that. I could be totally, I mean, I feel like if I could get 4 to 5 blocks done that quickly, wouldn't I have already finished the piece? But I don't know. Anyway, 1 block. Maybe that'll be my weekend goal for peppermint purple. 1 block. That's doable without over or underestimating anything, I think. So anyway, with WIPGO weekend, you set yourself like a mini goal within your larger goal to try to get done for just that weekend. And folks that participate get entered into a drawing. And all of this is on the WIPGO 2021 Facebook page, which is run by Jessie Marie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. So yeah, so that's the thing. I think I have links. I can't remember. I'll try to remember to set that up for you. Excuse me. I just get hiccups when I'm on camera. So that's the whips. Current plans are really up in the air. I'm still not feeling anything specific for April. I think I'm kind of burnt out on having plans, like specific plans. So I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly going to work on peppermint purple. I'm feeling the urge to pull my dark queen back out. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I do want to join in on Peruvian Cats Sal. So I believe that I gave you all the links and information about that in the last video. So if you're not sure about that, check out last week's Flosstube. That's Flosstube number 41, which I just remembered. This is Flosstube number 42. I forgot to say that this is Flosstube number 42. So 42 is big in the Douglas Adams universe. So if you know, you know. So 42, y'all, 42. Okay. So yeah, Peruvian Cat Sal might be a start this month, maybe, if I get to feeling like I want to start something. And that's kind of where I'm just not, I don't know, I'm just in a place where I'm happy to work on the things that I already have started. And I think part of it is it can take a lot to start a new thing, because you have to you have to get the fabric out, and you have to make sure it's the right size, and you have to find all your flosses, and you have to find either your center or the corner. It's just like, my brain is like, that's too much. It's too much right now. Now, Peruvian Cat Sal is should be an easy start, because it can be done in one color. I'm planning on using one colorway, like one thread. And I do have some black Lugana to do what I want to do. So it's just a matter of getting the Lugana out and cutting it down to size, which for some reason is a stumbling block for me. Like, that's an obstacle. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, no specific plans as of yet. I'm just going to keep puttering along with things. When I was on doing my live last Sunday, I pulled out Dark Queen a couple of times to talk about her, so I'm kind of feeling the urge to get back into her. I have a lot of work to do on her, so that might be a good secondary focus piece for the month, because I could just, once I get my peppermint purple situated, at least meet my goal on that, then I'm basically free for the rest of the month, and I could just put her on the frame or on the lap stand and just run with it for the rest of the month. So that could be a thing. Because I think I'm loving the simplicity of working on a piece that's already established. So anyway, so yeah, that's all the plans that I have. I do have some haul to show you, just a little bit, but part of my haul is an unboxing. So a mini unboxing. First part of my haul, let me just check my notes here and make sure let's see. Oh yeah, I even put 42 right at the top of my notes, and I forgot about it completely. So first part of my haul is I got my Color and Cotton threads for the month. So I get I get 5 skeins of the Bright/Variegated Club. And I also get 3 skeins of the Primitive Club, the Primitive/Natural Club. So that's what I get every month. And these are, it just says monthly. They used to put what month it was. I think these might be February's. I know that they're still kind of backed up, or they were backed up. I'm also going to be getting a fabric of the month from Color and Cotton very soon. So, I think I mentioned that last week. So here are the lovely threads for this month. Let's go through them individually. So this is Petal. I'll use myself for white balance because I am very, very white. My genetics say that I am all the whites. So I am 99.7% European, Western European, mostly British, Irish, Scottish, and a little bit of French and German. So, so this is Petal. It's a gorgeous color. Pull off that over there. So that's an almost salmon-y kind of pink. And this is called Taffy, which is a much paler pink. Almost a skin tone for me. Now we've got Nile. This is a gorgeous blue. I like this a lot. Y'all know me, blues and purples. Blues and purples are my thing. Love that. So that's Nile. And then we've got Orange Soda. Nice and orange. Orangey yellow. Almost a sherbet kind of color. I've noticed that a lot of their pinks and oranges are sherbety kind of colors. And this is Carmine. That's a nice red. A nice red. So those are the bright colors for the month. And let's look at the neutrals. I like the coloring for this. So here are our neutrals. So first we've got Spectre. It's a very, very pale silver gray. And then we've got Medieval, which is more of a gunmetal or armor, iron kind of color. And last we have Chamois. Chamois or Chamois. Chamois? Y'all decide how that's pronounced. I think Chamois. Champagne kind of color. And this is only like one shade off of my skin tone. Look at that. So there are the color and cotton threads. Like I say, I think those might be for February. They're either for February or March. I just got a shipping notification for the next ones. So like I say, I think they're still running a little bit behind. So I think those are February's. March's is in the mail. Because I think they usually ship towards the end of the month, so that would make sense. So actually that would make them back on time. So if March's is in the mail, they would have shipped it like last week, which would have been ish end of March, and then April's will ship later this month. So yeah, I love color and cotton stuff. Now let's talk about this. So this, let me hold it this way. Can we both be in the camera? Okay. This is the Bestitch Me Spring Equinox box. So this is the first of her boxes that I've actually purchased, pre-ordered, so that I got the full box experience. Most of the time, I either have missed or have opted not to purchase the box until it was too late, and then I couldn't purchase the butter. You know, I decided in the beginning, no, I really shouldn't spend the money, and then I missed out, and then I had FOMO. So fear of missing out. So this time I actually jumped in when she did the pre-orders. So I ordered this. It just arrived earlier this week. Spoiler alert, if you have not received your box, you've ordered it and you haven't received it, just FYI, you may want to skip the rest of the video, because this is pretty much the last thing I have to talk about. So if you don't want to see what's in the box, then go ahead and skip the rest. I'll see you next week. But yeah, this is the first box that I've purchased as the whole box experience. I did get her Halloween box, but I got it after the fact, so I only got the fabrics and the flosses. I did not get all the extra goodies and stuff like that, which was fine. And I will say, from personal knowledge and experience, these boxes are different than some of the other stitchy boxes that you can purchase, or cross stitch boxes that you can purchase. And that's because these are primarily about fabric and silks, whereas a lot of the other stitchy boxes, you get patterns and you get fabrics and silks, but you get like one piece of fabric and just the colors to do the pattern. And you get a lot of other fun items for enjoying with your stitching. They're not specifically stitching related a lot of the time. And so depending on what your preference is, like if you're looking for a pampering box that's going to give you a lot of other stuff that's not specifically for cross stitching, like candles or mugs or shawls, scarves, you know, like just pampering items, or as for instance, in the last Black Needle Society box, the on-the-go stitching, there were lots of little items to help you basically create a go bag for stitching while you're out and about. So there was like a wallet, a specially designed wallet. There was a little stand to put your phone or your pattern on. You know, so there were all these like stitching adjacent things that are not specifically stitching items. And those are really fun. I really enjoy those. But if you're the kind of person that you only want stitchy stuff, then Brandy's boxes might be more for you, because her boxes come with multiple pieces of fabric in different colorways. Usually she includes silks that she's dyed herself. And then there are a few extra items that are useful for stitching, but they're not as, you know, outside of stitching as some of the other boxes. So just FYI. So let's see what's in this one, because I have no idea. I haven't opened it yet. Ooh. So she usually includes candy. So there's some candy in here. We got some Tootsie Rolls. I probably should have done this as a regular unboxing so that you could actually see down into the box, but I'm just going to open it and show stuff to you. So there's Fruit Chews and Tootsie Rolls. And there's all kinds of nifty stuff in here. Okay. Yeah, I totally should have done this as a regular thing, but okay. So here are the this is the Spring Equinox Silk Pack. How pretty. These are gorgeous. They're like Easter eggs in the I'm feeling bad now that I didn't do a regular unboxing, but I have a bunch of videos lined up and I didn't want to take too long to get there. So look at those colors. So these are each 10 yards, and these are all hand-dyed silk. So this, she hasn't named the colors. Okay, so we have this gorgeous purple. Let's see if I can try to do these one by one. Look at that gorgeous purple. Lovely. Love it. And then there's this pale blue. These are great spring Easter colors. These actually real I shouldn't say Easter, but they're great spring colors. It's funny, I don't really celebrate Easter, I don't really observe Easter, but when I think of spring, Easter is kind of what pops into my head as a descriptor of spring. But yeah, these remind me a lot of the colors you see in spring, all of the early spring flowers like the daffodils, irises and things like that are all starting to pop up out of the ground, or have been popping up out of the ground. So those are the silks. Gorgeous, love it. Y'all know I love that purple. That's my favorite. But I love these a lot. These would be great for any kind of spring flower pattern. So I might have to actually see if I have a small chart that I could stitch either this month or next month in these colors. I know there's some Doreen Jones really cute flower patterns out that just came out recently, so I might have to check that out. Then, and I know Brandy just recently got a she got a cutting machine, one of not like a Cricut, but one that cuts wood. So more like a Glowforge. I don't know if she actually has a Glowforge, but it's something like that. So because of that, there are these fantastic wooden thread drops. So it came with 3 of them. And these are awesome. They're so smooth and they look beautiful. So it came with 3 thread drops and a ring to put them on. I'm just gonna, okay. They fit nicely on that ring. So some thread drops, beautiful wooden thread drops. That's a piece of paper you don't need to see. Another, more Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls of all shapes and sizes. Okay, so here's a breakdown of the Spring Equinox mystery box. 4 fabrics in the colorways Morning Glory, Daffodil, Sweet Pea, and Paradise. So I can almost guarantee you that those colors are inspired by those particular flowers. So we have the yellow for the daffodils. Sweet peas tend to be that kind of purple. Morning Glories can be any of those colors. Morning Glories are incidentally one of my favorite outside flowers. I love the fact that they're creeping vines. And Paradise I think is just a general thing. And then 5 10-yard silks, custom walnut needle minder. So those are walnut. That's fantastic. And then there's some other stuff. Well, I'll show you the other stuff before I just name it. Let's see what else is in the box. So there's a custom needle minder, which I think is also walnut. Yes, custom walnut needle minder. That's very pretty. It's so smooth. It's really nice. So whatever machine she has, it is fantastic. She's doing a great job with it. We've also got more Tootsie Rolls. Here's another fruit chew. More Tootsie Rolls. Okay, so there's a thing in here. Let's see what's in here. Ooh. Wow. Okay. So this is a themed scissor fob. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Look at that. No, you can't see the whole thing. So it has, and the camera's not gonna focus that close, but it's got this gorgeous lotus type design on it, and then there's a little butterfly on the bottom. I think I know who made this. It's one of 2 people who I know and am friends with. So, but that's gorgeous. I love the beads here, the little green beads. Those are fantastic. I love it. So, beautiful scissor fob, and then we've also got a pattern. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. So this is walnut. The needle minder is walnut. The thread drops are maple. This is maple. Okay, just FYI. Here are the fabrics, and there's also a pattern. So here's the pattern. Full bloom. Very nice. Looks like a dogwood or a cherry tree. Now let's look at the fabrics. So I chose the 8-yard option. So these are fat 8s, which means that they are, I want to say 15 by 18 or so. That's usually what an 8 is. And I got them in 32 count Jobeline because y'all know my thing. So let's look at these colors. First, we have Morning Glory. Let's see, Morning Glory, which is a beautiful sky blue, like a bright spring sky blue. It's fantastic. So that's Morning Glory. Fold them back up. Next we have Sweet Pea. It's coming off a little pale on the camera, but it's sort of a pinky purple kind of color. Very nice. And we have Daffodil. Which is a bright sunny yellow. Very nice. And last but not least, we have Paradise. These fabrics feel a little different to me than the Jobelines usually do. I wonder if this is a different source than the Jobeline she usually has. This is a very pretty pale green blue, like a springy green blue. So that is that's Paradise. Very nice. I will say I'm much more excited about the silks, the colorways for the silks than I am for the fabrics. Not to say that the fabric colors are not great; they're fantastic. Brandy always does a great job with her fabrics. I think it's just that I like the spring colors in the silks more than I like them for fabrics. Because I think part of it is spring colors, while beautiful, in fabrics, these are very pastel, and so I'm sitting here going, what am I going to use these for? So I'm kind of glad I got 8s, because I think these will be fantastic for something. I'm just not really sure what I'm going to use these for. Whereas I look at these silks, and I have all kinds of ideas for those colors for the silks. So I think it's just, I mean, they're the same colors, but the silks are awesome, and the fabrics are beautiful. I'm just not sure what I'm going to do with them. But you know, at the very least, it's Jovelin for like Christmas ornaments or something like that. I think somebody asked in my comments recently, or in the comments recently, what you would do or what I could do with an 1/8 of a yard. And there's so many things, because this is actually a decently sized piece of fabric. So let me pull this back out. So it is big enough that, you know, I can't easily hold it on the camera. So I have to lean back on the camera. And like I said, this is probably 15 by 18 or so. That's usually what a fat 1/8 is. So there's a lot of real estate on here, even though it's a small piece of fabric. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with this. Pretty much, I'm trying to think. So this is a 32 count, and 32 count stitched over 2 is the same as like 16 count Aida for distance purposes, length purposes, and that kind of stuff. So in this amount of space, like just in a quarter of the fabric, you could do a 50 by 50 design in this section and probably still have enough fabric for framing. So most ornaments or small pieces are like 50 by 50 or similar. Generally anything, let's see, a 50 by 50 done on 16 count, 14 or 16 count is going to get you around 3 inches of a finished product, finished stitch. And that's about the size that you want for an ornament. If you're going to finish it to try to hang it on a tree or something like that, you can go up to 70 if you want a large ornament, or if you want to do something other than hang it on a tree. But you could fit a 50 by 50 or a 70-ish stitch piece in a quarter of this. So you could get possibly 4 ornaments out of this. So if you're looking at small patterns, you can do a lot with these. You could potentially get 4 different pieces, finished pieces out of this. And like the Quirky Quakers. Let me show you a Quirky Quaker. Or actually, I have a couple things. This is the benefit of having all my junk right here. I can show you things really quickly. So, okay, I'll pick that up later. So this is a Christmas ornament I made. I still need to finish it and gift it. But you can see that this piece of fabric that it's on, so this piece of fabric is folded in 4. You can see that the piece I've actually stitched on is smaller than a quarter of this this 1/8 of a yard that I have. So I could get easily 4 ornaments this size. I could probably get, if I didn't want, or if I was going to be frugal with the amount of fabric around the outside for finishing, I could get a whole bunch of small ornaments like that on there. So you know, you can do 4 small ornaments. The Quirky Quakers from Darling and Whimsy. Now this is 40 count, so it's a little bit smaller than it would be otherwise. If you stitched it on a 32 count over 2, but you can see this is a small design. I want to say this is like 40-ish, 45 by 45, something like that. So you could get a bunch of these on one piece. You could get a bunch of ornaments. These are both about the same size. I think this one's 3 inches tall, and this is probably 2.5 by 2.5. So you can get a lot of pieces this size on a fat 1/8. In fact, on a fat 1/8, I think you could probably fit, excuse me, if you wanted to stitch them all as one sampler instead of individual pieces, you could probably fit all the currently available Quirky Quakers on one fat eighth. Just FYI. Just an idea. So that's some stuff that you can do with fat eighths. So don't think that it's too small a piece, because it's not. It's a big enough piece to do a lot of stuff with still. And you can do medium-sized pieces too. You could easily fit, like, I think, let me think. So Peruvian cats is 100 by 100 and something. I want to say one side is around 100 and the other side is around 130 or something like that. I think it's wider than it is tall, but you could fit Peruvian cats on a fat eighth. You know, you could very easily fit it on a fat eighth and still have plenty of room for framing. So just FYI. You don't always need a fat quarter. Fat quarter is going to be for your bigger pieces. Like you can fit, let me think. Twisted Rainbow Sampler from Northern Expressions is a long piece, but you can fit that on a fat quarter. So that will fit on an 18 by 27 piece of fabric. And I know this because I looked it up recently. Partly for my own planning purposes, but I had a customer ask what size fabric they would need. You can fit Twisted Rainbow Sampler, and that piece is, I think it's over 200 stitches long. It's maybe 90 to 150. I can't remember how many stitches wide. It's much longer than it is wide, but that fits on a fat quarter. So I mean, you can do 100 by 100 piece on a fat eighth. So just, anyway, I'm rambling at this point. So that's what was in the Spring Equinox box. And as I said, you can see that there's a lot more specifically stitching related stuff in this box compared to some of the other ones that I've opened, which is mostly, well, I've done the Black Needle Society boxes and the Forbidden Fiber Co. cross stitch kits and boxes. And you know, Forbidden Fiber Co. especially gives you those pampering items like lip balms and lotions and you know, things like that. Black Needle Society gives you a variety of things, including stitchy stuff and non-stitchy stuff. But Brandy tends to stick to specifically stitchy stuff. So there's the scissor fobs, the thread drops, the silks and the fabrics. So it's all about what you're looking to get out of your box. If you're looking for like a stash builder, then you probably want Brandy's boxes, because it's gonna be focused on the fabric and on the flosses. Whereas if you just want pampering stuff, if you want little extras, little luxuries and things like that, you may want to go more with the Black Needle Society or Forbidden Fiber Co. And I do have some stitch boxes coming, and that reminds me, I need to check into my I need to check into those because I think they should have shipped by now. But I have some stitchy boxes coming, so I'll get to see what's in those. Now, based on some unboxings I saw from Flossmas, it's mostly very stitching related stuff, but it includes some more luxury items depending on what size box you get, including beads and trims and things like that. So there's a variety of boxes out there in the world, so decide kind of what you're interested in getting out of your box before you decide which boxes you're going to invest in. So just my little PSA there. So that's it for me for today, folks. I was going to give you a shop update, but I still need to set up some listings. So rather than saying that I have some things or I don't have some things, I'm just going to let you know that I will update you on the shop next week. I think what I'd like to do, or I think my strategy for shop updates is that once I have the listings ready to make them live, then I will tell you about the shop update versus saying I'm going to get listings up, because then I think you all get disappointed because I'm like, I'm working on the listings, but they're not there yet. So so next week I expect to have some shop updates for you. Yeah, so that's it. I do give some more, I give additional updates on Patreon. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can go over there and check me out. The link is in the description here. A couple of new folks have joined over on Patreon. I really appreciate that. So I'm looking at some ways to provide some extra value and extra content over there as well. So that's a thing. And let me just mention it here because I did talk about it in live on Sunday. I think I'm going to make lives a more regular thing. I'm not going to do it every week. I just don't have the time or energy to do a live every single week. So I apologize to those of you who would like to see them that regularly. I can't do it that regularly, but I think I am going to, going forward, try to plan at least one live per month. And I'll try to announce that at least a week ahead of time so you can prepare if you need to. And I'll try to change up the times as well to allow for as many different time zones as possible. I do tend to prefer weekends in the morning because it's easier for me, and that is usually a better time for the most folks. It does kind of, it's hard to plan around Australia because I think Australia is 13 hours ahead of me. But I'm going to try to mitigate some of that by maybe having a live on a Saturday morning instead of a Sunday morning, because then it'll be Saturday night in Australia. So maybe that'll be a little bit easier for you Aussie folks. You can let me know if it's not. But it does help with the European folks because then it's just the evening instead of being late at night. It does catch the West Coast folks, and I apologize. So it's early in the morning for y'all, and I don't want you to have to get up early, but you know, it's hard to arrange one time that works for everybody. So I'll try to move it around so I can get as many folks as possible. So there's that coming up in the future. And also, and I think I'm going to limit this to Patreon folks simply for numbers, but I think I want to also do a monthly Zoom. So I will be working on that later this month. I'm anticipating that the live and the Zoom will happen around the 20-somethingth of April, because I'm going to try to plan those for weekends when Essential Spouse is out of the house, just so I don't bug him, but also so that he doesn't make guest appearances. He likes to mess with stuff sometimes, which y'all might find enjoyable, but I find slightly frustrating. So anyway, I try to plan those for when he's already out of the house at work, so that I don't impinge upon our time together or, you know, anything like that. So that's coming up as well. Okay, I think that's all I have for you. Now that the sun's coming out, the brightness is like, woo! In here, I had changed the camera settings so that it would be a little bit better because it was really cloudy, but now the sun's coming out. So anyway, here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, that really is it for me today. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope, or actually, I guess it'll be evening by the time you see this. I hope you've had a great Friday, or are having a great Friday, or will have a great Friday, whatever time zone you're in. And I hope you have some great plans for the weekend. If any of you are doing WIPGO this weekend, WIPGO weekend, you know, you can definitely comment down below. Let me know what you're working on. I'll be posting in the group over the course of the weekend, so you'll see what I'm working on. Happy to chat that way. So yeah. Yeah. So I hope you're having a great Friday. Hope your week was good. Hope you're going into the weekend with some great and wondrous plans. And in the meantime, make sure to stay hydrated. Make sure you take all the meds that you need to take some vitamins too. And remember that good enough is good enough. And I'll see you again next time. Have a great one.